All right, welcome everyone to No Brick All Bucket. We have a special guest today. He's a very trained athlete, as well as an elite high-level basketball coach and trainer. You've trained Matas and Vince Buzelis, as well as Terrence Shannon Jr., and as well you're the president of Full Package Athletics. So thank you very much for coming in and doing this podcast interview. How are you, man?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Of course.
Amazed with this library
Yeah.
that we're meeting at.
It's big,
but glad to be here.
Good, perfect, man. I'm glad. So before we get into more recent things, I want to get to know your story, kind of where you grew up, how that was like, how you got into basketball. So you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I was born in Moscow, Russia, long time ago.
Yeah.
In the 80s.
Oh, okay.
So, I caught a little bit of like USSR and, get into the Russia.
Yeah.
I just did a lot of sports when I was younger growing up. I went to school. I was a okay student, but I was gifted because I had a good photo memory, right? So I would just see something I can remember.
Got it.
So I was good at, like just math and physics and just patterns.
Yeah.
And then eventually I started playing basketball and I really fell in love with it. And it was late. People already were ahead of me.
Right.
But it was really challenging. So for me, it was interesting to pursue that because it was something new. It was something challenging. And then kind of grew and just started playing in the street ball, started playing outside a lot. Eventually got into organized basketball. Had this one coach in Russia in CSK, second team. He kind of taught me that it's better to teach the guy who's willing to pass to be a point guard versus, sometimes people just by default, like, oh, it's a short guy, you're a point guard. So he told me that's easier if I'm willing passer to be that versus try to get small guy to pass if they don't want to.
For sure.
So he kind of changed my mind a little bit on that. Started teaching me as a guard, even though I was bigger. And then to help me with seeing the game differently and just anticipation, guarding multiple positions. So he kind of changed that. And that coach was one of the first jump shooters before he went three-point line. So he told me too that if I can have a good distance and shoot from far, especially in Europe with zones back then, that could be a threat, from anyone on the floor. So he told me this technique, how to shoot farther without using, too much strength.
Interesting.
And it helped me start being a really good three-point shooter from far.
Yeah.
So then, and that's how it was. And then I went, one time I saw 2003 Final Four with Marquette, Kansas, Syracuse, and Texas.
Okay.
So then Syracuse won.
Right.
And then after I saw it, I just fell in love with NCAA basketball. I was like, that's what I want to be.
Yeah.
So I started doing track in Russia just to help to support that because I saw how physical demanding it was. Got actually good at it.
Yeah.
So was on the national under 21 team.
Oh wow.
Did long jump and 200 and 100. Did some good results.
Yeah.
I think my best was 10.6 100. So now it's okay. Before that was pretty good, right? So so got there and then eventually I won this Nike Battleground, so one-on-one tournament.
Yeah.
It was really popular on MTV. I don't know if you remember it.
And I think I saw some clips you had posted.
A one-on-one in the cage.
Yeah, man, that's...
So 2004, and then one of the prizes was to go to United States office in Portland for Nike. And so I went there, started connecting with people, trying to tell that I want to go here. And eventually, this one guy just started helping me, connecting with the coaches. So Florida State offered me a scholarship to go there, and Leonard Hamilton liked what he saw. He just wanted the physical, tough players.
Yeah.
So eventually he did. And then the day I was supposed to maybe sign a letter of intent, They like, hey, do you have a ACT, like SAT?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I don't know what it
Yeah, what
is.
the hell is that?
So- and then TOEFL, I didn't know. So they say, hey, you can't do that. You got to go to JUCO. And his friend, who was on Kentucky stuff with Coach Hamilton, was a coach in this JUCO in Panama City,
Okay.
Gulf Coast. And so I ended up flying here. Pretty much went to the school, took a placement test,
Yeah.
and then left. And then like that's how they got me enrolled in classes.
Got
So I ended up going there for 2 years, and then for 2 years I was in Delta State,
Okay, yeah.
which is D2 in Mississippi. So then slowly like worked my way up. I ended up going to Indiana, was working out with Pacers, trying to get drafted.
Got it.
Eventually got to G League, have spent some time with Denver Nuggets in 2013,
Yeah.
like preseason. And then, you know, fell in love with coaching and helping others, try to teach players, like if that's what they want to do, to help them to do it earlier. Because I kind of was behind, like I went to JUCO later,
Right.
I finished school later, went to G League, and like I was already 27,
Oh.
so it was a little bit behind per se.
Sure.
Right now it's changed a little bit, right? But that's how it was. So
Yeah. So,
that's I ended up in Chicago, met Steve Pratt, who was the owner of Full Package,
got it.
and just became good friends, and he was my mentor and still is. So it just fell in love with coaches and helping players.
So it all worked out.
Right.
But just kind of going back, that transition from Russia to the United States, how was that like for you? Like, obviously, language is different, culture's a little different. So how was that transition for you?
So I was my grandma when the borders opened in '90s. She was just like a Jewish linear.
I got it.
So they moved here with some of my family.
Got it.
So as younger, we would visit when we finally got some money to buy tickets,
Got it.
and they helped us. So we kind of visit some summers. So I was here before that, and I always learned English from like videos and
Sure.
movies,
Television.
and, like MTV, right? The
Yeah.
clips and lyrics. So I don't think it was a big barrier. In English classes, it was like the first few when I took English writing.
Right.
That was hard.
That was-
Just the thoughts and sentences length and just how do you put thoughts and verbs, and so it was a little different.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like in school, it's biology is all Latin anyway. It was easy, to speak.
Right.
If you're okay with making mistakes. And
Yeah.
I was all right. But there were some transitions, and I don't think it stopped me from anywhere.
No, yeah. That's good though.
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk about like Russian basketball in specific and what makes that different than, say, even from other European countries.
Yeah.
Kind of difference in that style of play.
We traveled a lot. So with basketball, we went to international tournaments, like the Junior Year League. Went to China, Korea, France, Germany, Spain. So we play like teams from Africa on the national tournaments. So it wasn't anything like different because everybody from at least my era was following Serbian coaches.
Okay.
So Serbian or Yugoslavian coaches were the best at what they did with development and strategics. So I feel like a lot of Europe was just kind of following the trend. And like we used to go as a younger kids to the camps in Serbia in the summer. So I feel like there was nothing like separate a lot, right? So, but it depends on countries too and personnel. I feel like there was a difference. But like, everybody who play basketball probably taller than average person, right? So, athletically, again, depending on country, like Spain would have some very athletic guy, where maybe Scandinavian countries didn't, but they still it was a different basketball a little bit. So
Sure.
I don't think, as I think about it, there's nothing, crazy
difference.
differences. But we learned from traveling, or they traveling to us, what's the difference. And everybody watch NBA, so there's some trend there.
Sure.
NCAA, I got introduced later. It wasn't as popular as maybe now.
Okay.
Because a lot of Russian players are in NCAA in college.
Right.
Back, let's say when I was playing, it was very rare.
Yeah.
So then nobody followed it, right? Like, and nobody knew you can have a average 8 points in Duke and then 20 in Trinity International.
Right.
And people like, oh, it's, college
Yeah, right.
points.
Right.
So we didn't know the levels, but
I mean, even like Illinois now, that team, a lot
Right.
of Europeans,
Right.
like, it's, yeah. I feel like European basketball was ahead of its time in a sense, with more three-volume shooting. I feel like now, obviously, the NBA is all about threes.
yeah.
But I think European style is, in my opinion, more cleaner in a
Yeah.
sense. It's just more fundamentally sound. But then going back to you entering the States and entering the draft, like what was that process like for you? Like what made you make that decision to enter the draft?
Well, I always, like I said, I fell in love with the NCAA after watching the 2003 Final Four.
Yeah.
And then my dream was to come here. At some point, like I was kind of, I guess, debating with my parents. They didn't want to let me go younger.
Yeah.
I was trying to leave earlier. So I have to kind of establish myself back home for them to understand that that's what I'm following through. And like after winning Nike, that helped me open the door.
Sure.
Like at least with parents and just connection to come here. In JUCO, like I still dreamed to play, in NBA. I never wanted to go back in Europe
Yeah.
for some reason. Just pursue that, and then I went to Delta. I actually committed to Savannah State,
Okay.
which was a Division I school too. But I ended up going Delta State because when I went to visit, I felt at home.
Yeah.
And then I found out there's two players recently who went to NBA from there. So then I connected with them and they showed me the roadmap, how to get there.
Sure.
So
And
it
who-
helped me out a little bit.
Who were the two players? Do you remember?
One was Jasper Johnson,
Okay.
and another one, Jeremy Richardson. He
Okay.
played in Atlanta, Orlando, and Boston.
Got it,
And
okay.
he actually, like in Atlanta, he was off the bench, but he was a good player.
Good player.
In some games, yeah.
So with Delta State, tell me about your time there, like just living there in Mississippi, as well as your time playing there. Like, what was the experience like for you?
It was Cleveland, Mississippi.
Right.
It was like Walmart and a few things in there.
Sure,
right?
not much around.
Oh yeah, but they helped me. I just locked in on basketball. When I moved there, I finished JUCO in May. So I moved there and they couldn't start scholarship until August. So I asked them, can I stay in the gym? So I actually lived in the locker room for how many months. They helped me with a job. I was working like on a ground worker the first few months. And they connected me with a football coach who I was lifted with open gyms. I was always joking that MTV Cribs would come in because I have like a 5,000 people gym in my apartment. So everything was there.
Yeah.
You go to the weight room, you go to work, so they helped me out a lot. So then, like, I literally lived in a gym, and why wouldn't I?
Right,
So
exactly.
I loved my time there. The school was, not hard for me. It was really, like, after fixing English in JUCO, they helped me out a lot. So in Delta State, I have all A's in 2 years except one C, which was a speech class, which is kind of funny. But so I finished with really good grades, and I loved it. Time there, summer all year.
Yeah. What you graduate with in?
I have a information technology major and business minor.
Okay. And what kind of made you pick that as what you wanted?
From younger, my dad in like back in Russia, owned the computer and like network company.
Sure.
So I would always building, servers and building like, big machines, computers and
Sure.
programming. Back in Russia, I went to school too, in university for engineering, and
Got it.
so it was just something I followed and
Yeah.
liked and knew.
We're familiar with.
Yeah.
For sure. Now tell us about your stint with the Bakersfield Jam and how that came to be. What got you there? And I know you tried out, correct?
Yeah, so I was on the team from 2013 to 14, and then I went there in 2010, but I realized, like after working out and kind of getting the feedback, I realized the gaps that I was missing.
Sure.
So when I went back in Chicago, I started working on it, right? Like I tied up my shooting, other skills defensively. So I just like work on my body to be better, more movable. So then 3 years later, they like invited me in a camp and I killed it. So that I got invited to the team.
Sure.
And then in G League before, right now it's every team have affiliate. Back then we had 5 affiliates. So every team starts sending players from them and they have to play.
Oh, wow.
So then you just kind of sit there, like you practice, you're waiting on it, and then they can deactivate you if you're not 12 players,
Right.
and they don't need to pay you. So
Right.
you just only live on per diem. So then it's like a hobby almost, right?
Sure.
If I did it in Chicago
Yeah.
and like coach, that would be one thing.
Right.
In Bakersfield, California, just hard to find job
Sure.
and just concentrate on that. So then eventually, I got hurt. I like tore my ligament in my ankle.
Oh, man.
So I knew I'm not gonna play for a certain amount.
Sure.
And it was just hard to be there. So I came back and tried to rehab and just have a job here.
Yeah.
But like my Rudy Gobert, Dennis Schroeder, James Nannally, John Jenkins, all were my teammates in G League.
Yeah.
So you just start sending guys like Jared Cunningham, who else? Milsa. There's just so many people
Yeah.
who was ahead because they just got sand.
Sure.
So no matter how you do, they're not gonna let you.
Right.
So it was from NBA. And like I said, with the payment too, I don't know how it's now. I think it's a little different, but it was back then, and there was less money in it. So you just literally living in
Just
Bakersfield,
in-
California, which is dust.
Yeah.
And like one of the worst areas.
Places to be, man.
So, and that's it. So that was a stunt. And then like right before that, I was with Nuggets still working out and have a preseason with them, and they were really good that year too.
Yeah.
So
And for the D League, was it hard to kind of like stay motivated in a sense, especially with all how it is back then compared to now? I mean, I'm sure.
man, not for me.
No.
I think I played for the right reasons. So
sure.
for me, it was like just competing with the best and be the best. So I never loved basketball because of money or anything.
Just for the.
I just felt, like try to be the best in the world in what I do.
Yeah.
So, like, did it hurt? Yes, but like, did it change any motivation? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
So I still. Yeah, you still play. Yeah. So kind of going back to what you said earlier. Why for you was like going back to Europe and playing not like really an option for you? Like what kind of deterred you from going back to play over there?
Well, I always want to come here and live here.
Sure.
So, like, I just didn't understand why would I go back. So for me, like, like a lot of people did tell me that I should go back and make good money there playing
Right.
basketball. But like I said, I just, for me, it wasn't about money or place. I just wanted to be the best, and the best were in NBA.
Right.
So that was, my motivation, and like I never have a thought like, oh, you know what, I'll go to
back.
France or Spain
Right.
or even Russia. I just never had that plan B.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, fair enough. I mean, I feel like that's setting yourself to a higher standard, just playing at the top level. So Tell me about your transition to coaching, how that got started after you're done playing pro. Just tell me about how that started.
So I always was interested in like breakdowns and everything. Like I said, I was just kind of rationalizing everything, like logically, how to put everything through, right? So for me, just the way I think, I analyze basketball differently than most of the players. So then even from back, like in Russia, I would always be involved with coaches about the teams and players and breakdowns and development, and learning more and more helped me a lot. So like in Delta State, this one guy, he was one of the assistant coaches. He introduced me to, training and player development, which for me, the only thing I knew was like those bootlegs, better basketball. I don't know if you remember, with like Chauncey Billups, Buzelis, and it was like, hey, this is the cone, this is crossover.
Yeah.
So like very simple. So he kind of showed me some things where he learned from Indiana. And his mentor was Ed Schilling, who I eventually would meet after. So then this guy, Paul Schwartz, he was the guy who like first started with doing two balls, like different finishes. I started learning from watching the games, like just replay, watching the games. I used to like download those torrents. Remember those two games from NBA?
Right.
So then I just watched those because I couldn't watch in Russia, just time difference, and we didn't have NBA games on, and so you have to do it through. So eventually, like, we're learning a lot, and then with all this information, you gotta kind of share it with somebody. So when I came here in 2010, that's like Steve told me that he can help me train me, but I couldn't pay, so like you just work the camps and training.
Right.
So for a few years before I went back to playing, I was kind of training myself, and I trained other kids with me
At the same time.
So just like helping out, and just he saw that I was doing good, and like I always was good with kids, just the connection, and I don't know, they think I'm a big kid with them. So then it just helps to connect, and like that's how it was. So I know I went to play. When I finished playing, I knew right away that like that's what I want to do and pursue it. And just help to at least clean up the mistakes that I had, right? To just have a more straight path if that's what they want to do.
Right. And then, so kind of going back to Russia a little bit, who were some of the prominent figures for you looking up and like kind of modeling your style of play? Like, who were your idols, if you'd say?
I mean, like my coach, in SK, Astahov, he was one of the first mentor, and he made me look at the basketball differently. Who I was watching is, again, it's probably like players who I model my game to. So those guys were like all in NBA. I don't know, it was like a undersized fours, wings who play strong. So I don't know, Corey McGeady, Bonzi Wells, Brewer. Who else? Like Jim Johns. I don't know, just so many players. Like people don't know about it, but I would like find those players who I can, John Salmons, Tyreek Evans, like the big guards, wing who play strong. So just kind of how can I model my game to them? Like the Russian players, I just didn't know. Like one of the best ones, probably Andrei Kirilenko. Like I just never had a body type
to match the style.
Right. So his defense was great. I learned a lot. Like what else? There was two guys who ended up playing in Portland and Chicago Bulls. Victor Hryapa and Sergei Monya. So they were like two Russian players who actually did go to NBA back then, and just Hryapa was for a few years, and Monya came back, I think after maybe 1 or 2. So but they again, like they're different players.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't.
Different styles. It's hard to kind of model something after.
Right.
Did you play any other sports growing up besides basketball? I know you said track. But anything else that you were kind of into as well, or?
I mean, we did, like, as a kid, we would try everything.
Yeah.
I mean, like, martial arts, karate, I did tennis.
Yeah.
Got kicked out of there. Tried to hit the teacher and smashes. What else? Like, did running, skiing.
Yeah.
I mean, you go through different things. Like, we all try to play rugby.
Right, okay.
Right, so we fought a lot. Like, I have a lot of boys in my class.
Okay.
So we, like, always wrestle and fight and just, it was a little different.
Yeah.
You know, so.
That's how it is usually.
Right.
Yeah, you know, it's more.
Yeah, so that's nothing, like, serious that I would consider.
More just kind of.
Yeah, because I was busy, like, I was gifted in, like, some things, so I was busy with the, like, Olympiads and stuff, with like, physics, math, and so just not enough time to anything else.
Right. I know you talked about your photographic memory. Did that help a lot when it came to coaching, or even playing, like, kind of running plays and stuff? Was that something that came easy to you?
Yeah, it's more recognizing patterns too.
Sure.
So then I can see, like, oh, if this is the defense, I already know how to kind of dissect it and slice it.
Yeah.
Like, I would remember, I mean, if I close my eyes, I'll still remember some Delta State games.
Oh, wow.
Like, maybe even Russia. Like, a lot of coaches joke about it. And I would be like, hey, remember this guy in the pink shoes, like, who dropped 21 points in, like, the seventh quarter in 2009, you know? And they're like, no, we don't remember. So I'm, like, trying to explain to, like, he had, like, this one sock was lower than the other. And so it's just, like, it's a gift, you know? And then, so, like, the games, like, it's a gift and a curse, too, because you remember bad things, too, right? So, like, the games you lose or win, it's all on this tape, you know, going through it. Like, recently when LeBron sat down one time in an interview and started going play by play, and I, like, realized, I was like, oh, you guys, like, don't do that?
Right.
And the people were like, no, we don't. So then I kind of realized that, like, oh, that's a gift compared to others, right? So we're just, I can see, because I can see, I can kind of predict, like I said, like what's next and how to avoid that. Also, it helped because I coached a lot of teams early. So, like, recently, I started trying to count, and I'm at almost 5,000 games.
Yeah.
So no matter, like, basketball is basketball, right?
Sure.
So all this variation that can happen probably already happened. I try different things with different results.
Sure.
Right? Like, your best player out, this guy fouled out, this team played this 1-3-1 matchup, this team, you know, man, but they switch him, this is this. So all these games, you have all these variations.
Sure.
So then, like, a lot of times I talk to coaches too, and they would, like, give me a problem, and I already have solution from different games, different times, and I would give them variations. Like, hey, if you try this, this is what's going to happen. If you try this, this will happen. So photographic memory definitely helps with that, because when the problem occur, I already can predict the outcome or at least solution, and you know. And then sometimes there's some things out of your control.
Sure.
But at least you have that pattern or path that I can predict.
The general sense of what can happen.
Right.
So after kind of like with coaching, obviously you've coached plenty of people, but obviously Maras is one of the more prominent players. So tell us about kind of meeting him, how that got started.
Yeah, he started training with Steve, who's the owner of Full Package, Steve Brand. So he met him at graduation of Rapolis. He's playing in Japan now. I don't know if you know Rapolis Ivanauskas.
No,
Barrington. He played in Colgate, Cincinnati, and then he's playing in Japan right now.
Okay.
his brother actually same class as Maras.
Oh, okay.
So that's how like they knew
Each
so
other.
he started coming to Coach Steve training, and then he started training him. He was like linky, long, skinny kid, but they play him as a center
Right.
in the other program where they lived. And then his dad was always like this, he's not a good center.
Right.
You know, he's too weak.
Too
Like,
weak.
what are you doing? So then Steve like started training him a little bit on the guard skills.
Yeah.
And then he told me, he was like, Mitch, just look at this guy, like he's gifted, like there's something
With
in
him.
him,
Right.
you know. So then he started coming to practices, and then I just saw how he see the games and how he serves others. Like his best skill is actually passing
Sure.
and creating for others, which he didn't even show it yet. You
Right.
know? Like if he would have a ball in his hand more, you will see like what his really gift is, right? So then for me, I was like, oh yeah, like I'll play him as a point.
Sure.
Right? So then that's how I started doing it. And then I mean, he grew and became super athletic,
Yeah.
but the skills were there to be a point guard and a playmaker. And then he saw the game in a lot of similarity what I saw, just like the patterns and recognizing and giving others and understanding like who's hot and how to get them open. So he thought at a very high level. And one winter, it was him and his other two twins who were his friends and they're college players now.
Sure.
They didn't have feeder in where they lived at.
Okay.
And they just came every day for the one winter, like when they were 8th graders. Every day I saw them. So from like literally every day, it was from I would say September to maybe the spring.
Oh, man.
Then we start playing. It was every day. So we just trained. It was like maybe me and them three and like some other kids back and forth.
Sure.
But it was just that. And like they all fell in love with basketball and they pushed each other.
Yeah.
And I kind of grew with them. And from then, like they all played together for a long time. And that group has a lot of really good players who's now like this guy, Jake Fegan, who just graduated from Cornell and about to go high level one more year of basketball, like one of the best shooters in the country. This guy Tzvet, who's a Georgia Southern Division I, really good, like 6'7", 6'8" shooter.
Yeah.
This one guy who went North Dakota State, but he's not playing right now. He's actually coaching right now with us.
Okay.
There's Mick, who is a Rapley's brother, and he's in a Mercyhurst Division I school. Had a really good year. So like there's three more guys who are college players, it's just not Division I. So the whole class just kind of blew up with them, and it helped me to like just see it players in basketball different, because Modest was so gifted, and I'm very kind of mechanical and rational controlling.
Sure.
So for me, I had to give up control and give them a longer leash
Sure.
to be artist, you know, where I couldn't understand like the whole picture.
Right.
Like for me, it was a puzzle, and for him it was a painting.
Sure.
Right? So he was an artist in his game. So it helped me as a coach and a person just to see different personality, and actually helped to study psychology too, eventually, just to understand the mind and the set. And then now it helps me a lot with other players like him. I mean, there's nobody like him, but other players like his thinking to help them and serve them better because of him. So it helped me. It opened my thoughts on coaching and just serving like differently. So he helped me with that.
So right now with coaching, what's one of the most important things that you try to implement into your players? Like so if you could give them one piece of advice or one thing they should work on, what would that be?
Trust simple. Like midwidth theory?
Yeah.
Like the curve? Yeah, so like a lot of people stuck in the middle.
Sure.
And the simplicity and this overthinking in the middle.
Sure.
And nowadays, especially with all the options and all the information, you have to go through so much thinking and processing that it takes away your natural instinct, your reaction time to other things. And like even mentally, like a lot of kids struggling because they have too much time and too much information to think about things.
Yeah.
So I'd say trust simple, make simple. I moved it before when I was like young coach. I was like confident in what I was doing, right? But then you're like learning more, it drops, and then you're learning more. It grows again, right? Because of the experience and wisdom and information. So again, the first I was not doing any plays, and we just press all game.
Got it.
And I thought like that's the answer, right? But then I kind of got stuck. I was like, all right, that's not an answer. Let's do this, and then let's run a lot of stuff.
Sure.
But then again, it's like, all right, so some players, it's great, right? Like players who are mechanical like me, it's perfect. You give a system, they see it, they got it, right? But then like for artists, that didn't work. So now, how do you play out of principles? How do you make it simple and game-like and natural and reaction so that everybody benefit of the system? So that's my goal now, right? The verbiage, the simplicity, the simplicity of decisions. How do you do less, right? But faster.
Sure.
So then, again, if you got too many options, it's that bias, right? Of bias of choice.
Yeah.
But now, how do you have 2-3 options, and it makes it simple, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You fail in those. Just do those options better, right? So that's where I am right now, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's really good, man. Kind of going back with Matas, I know he decided to go G League instead of college. What did you think of that decision for him?
Great. He was never like school.
Yeah.
One time at the Florida State visit, that's I kind of reconnected with Coach Hamilton there, and Coach Jones, and like they brought me to US, so I'm very thankful to them.
Sure.
And it was like a really good kind of reconnecting time. I mean, I'm like weekly basis talk to Coach Jones. He was assistant. Now they had new staff.
Yeah.
Like he's one of my mentors now too, to help me with organizing my thoughts. But yeah, on that visit, I was just kind of in the office. It was like parents, Matas, and Coach Ham. And I say, hey, look, I say, if that's how it's going, I said, Matas doesn't need to go to school.
Right. Yeah.
And they all like, oh yeah, like right. And Coach Ham was like, Dmitry might be right.
Yeah.
Like we try to get him, but it might be like it's over. Right. So then, for them, like a few years back, that was one of the ways with the G League Ignite.
Sure.
And then, like knowing Matas, like I said, because he's an artist, like he's never great at school.
Sure.
And then we found out that G League Ignite helps those guys to take classes, and they help them with school. So they actually, like online, attend Arizona State.
Okay.
So you can have classes on finances, language, speech, whatever you want, right? And so again, I don't, especially nowadays, I don't think you have to have a diploma to do anything, right, to succeed. So maybe 10 years ago, I'd be like, well, I gotta go to school, right? But now, like you could be 13-year-old, do YouTube channel, Twitch, and make money.
Millions,
great at it, right?
It's crazy.
So that's why I was like, do you really want to go to school?
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna sit in classes, like learning, or you can go and do it? Also, NCAA had all this, like the rules and how many head coach, like how many coach Izzo time coaching you Matas, right? Like on an individual level,
right?
Like what's the, like coach is great,
right?
But how many hours? It's like 20 hours limit a week, right? And it's a team practice. So like how much? So there's going to be some manager, or some assistant of assistant who will do you,
right?
Like, and how good are they? We don't know. Like Tom Izzo is great, right? Coach Ham is great. Coach Krzyzewski is great. Like Shire is great, right? But how much time that guy will spend with you? And then in G League, their main concern was to get Matas as best as he can be, highest draft possible as he can be. It's a full-time job for everybody to get him better. So if that's your 3 goals, then why go somewhere else?
Exactly.
So it's just perfectly aligned to what he thought. Be a best draft pick, play professional basketball,
Right.
have our coaches helping you to get better as a pro,
Sure.
play against NBA players in G League
Right.
versus college. The spacing, the rules, the lifting programs, all was different.
Oh, and
because you go to, play Big Ten, they're gonna beat you up.
Yeah.
Right? Like in Modest was thin frame, right? But in the G League, the spacing and rules are a little different.
Sure.
So then like the hand checks, the drive, so it helped them a little bit too to mature better and faster than he would be just getting beat up in a college,
Right.
without fouls. So again, I just thought it was perfectly aligned,
Mm-hmm.
and I would always tell him like, hey, if that's what you want to do, like, why would you go to school?
Right.
You can always take classes that you need and graduate if you want.
Right.
If your parents think that that's the right thing,
Mm-hmm.
just tell them like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna graduate for you guys, right?
Right.
So and that's that they decided that too, and they understand and realize how that's helped with alignment,
Right.
So yeah, that's how it went.
Yeah. And once he was drafted, and obviously getting picked by the Bulls, how were your feelings on that? Obviously, to be drafted by your hometown team, that's the odds are against it, usually. So how was that feeling for him, for you, just for everyone
I
around
mean,
you?
I thought they got lucky.
Yeah, I thought so
clearly
too.
fell for I don't know what reason. Like they had good workouts in like Utah and Portland and who was before Boston.
Right.
Who was it? So some teams said like, okay, we're gonna go for this possession or anything.
Sure.
And then some teams really loved them. So it was interesting. Like I knew he was gonna get somewhere, right? We just kind of by the 8 pick, like everybody got nervous a little bit, right? Like what's going on?
Right, he should have been.
But like it's perfectly foul, and I'm a believer in situational.
Sure.
So, like you go somewhere else, right, and maybe you get more playing time, but you're not going to be coached as hard, right?
Sure.
And the team have some good veterans, had some good young players, got a good piece. Like Billy Donovan was great.
Yeah.
Like he would not coach you, right? So, and then Modest want to be coached hard, right, and just be honest with him.
Yeah.
So that helped him a lot. Like he did struggle first year,
Right.
But again, for the rookie to play for Coach Donovan,
Yes.
like we knew him, right? We knew what he did in Florida.
Right.
Like as a freshman, you pretty much didn't see the floor until you grew,
Yeah.
right? So then I told him that right away, like, hey, you're gonna have some kind of period where you got to figure out how to get on the floor first.
Sure.
Forget about star and second contract and rookie
Right.
of the year.
Just-
like figure out how to get on the floor. And then like with injuries and here and there, he started getting in. So he played 82 games, 81 game first year.
Yeah.
And then like he even played one G League game.
Right.
I
think
back
so.
to back. So he figured it out,
Right.
So like there was no DNPs or anything. He at least got a chance where he had to prove himself,
Sure.
right? So then going to second year, because of the trust, he got a little bigger role.
Yeah.
But now too, like with the trades and injuries, it helped him personally a little bit to just kind of grow into bigger role.
For sure.
Like everybody, oh wow, look at this.
Yeah.
But like I knew that 5 years ago.
Right.
Like wait till you see more.
Right.
Right. So like me and Modest always said, like hey, if you dominate, if you do your things, I mean you're beyond all-star.
Yeah.
Like with the gift that you have athletically, mindset, confidence, skill set, right? Like you prepare to be the best player in the league.
Right.
What is stopping you, right? So then, again, when people like amazed at what he does,
Right.
And I was like, well, just wait. Like there's more.
There's more
into it. And then, like I always believed, and like I say, I think he'll prove it more and more the more he's into it.
Yeah.
Depending on situation and other things, he'll just gonna get better and better.
Right.
So like what's the limit for him? I don't know. There's like
I feel like there is no.
yeah, just from the eye point, like just eye test and
Sure.
skill set and mindset.
Right.
Like I said, he can be that triple-double guy
For sure.
if he has enough touches with the ball because he's a pass-first guy. So then I feel like him and Lonzo Ball, you learn a lot from him the first year.
Yeah.
Like learning the mindset from Zach LaVine and Kobe White, right?
Sure.
How to be a scorer, how to be that guy, right? How to play through it, right? Like with Giddey, understanding the dynamic of the team, where to be, how to involve, right? So he's learning from really good mentors, and it's just helping him a lot.
Yeah. Even this last, month and a half, 2 months, his stretch of games, he had like a good stretch of like just 20-point plus games. That just shows his growth. And I feel like you said, like the trades and stuff gives him more freedom to kind of be himself, play how he wants to play. I feel like that's just going to help him overall. And now you hear things about Giddey and Matas being the cornerstone of the team. Like I said, I feel like sky's the limit for him.
For sure. I'm more about rebounds and passing.
Yeah.
Like I said, he can be a 20, 10, and 8 guy.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on that.
Yeah. What for you frustrates you the most about when you see him out there, and not necessarily about him, but maybe the coaching tactics used with him? What for you are you like, man, they should like really do this?
It's hard to tell because we're not there. We're not at the practices. We're not in a huddle. Right? So like sometimes, let's say he goes and blows out closeout, right? But I don't know, in a timeout, maybe that's what they said.
Right.
They told him to run this guy off into help and pill switching somebody.
Sure.
So it's also hard to judge because I'm not there. I can only postpone it, or I can only ask him after.
Sure.
And there's always explanation to it. So there is some things, like he actually one of the best ISO defenders.
Oh yeah.
Like if you go to NBA stats and you go deep, like he's one of the best isolation defenders.
Yeah.
Because he can guard multiple positions, and even if you blow by, he's following with a block.
Right.
Right. So then the job gets done. Right. He might not guard a small guard in front, like he might not guard Russell Westbrook face to face.
Sure.
But if he does go by him, it's a block, or
Right.
at least contest, or at least deflection, right? So he changes his shot. So if the job gets done, it doesn't matter how it's done, right? Like just the physicality, I guess the main thing.
Sure.
The maturity. Like last summer, we start kind of preparing him for that, right? And I was like, after summer league, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna like start hanging and fouling. I'll lose Dort. Yeah, I'll do it. So I'll just grab him, hold him, push him. I'm like, you gotta get open there. Right. And so I'll just hang on him. Right. And then he's like, we don't complain. He gets scratches and stuff. I was like, hey, like people going at you.
That's how it is.
They're looking at you.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's this white skinny guy. Like let me go at him.
Right.
And that's how it's gonna be. So I was like, you don't want to be that. Right. It's like you want to be a force.
Sure.
So then, and he got the edge. Like he got this confidence that's just unbelievable. Like, I love that about him. And again, so then we kind of changed that a little bit. Sure. So I'll just start fouling and hanging. I was joking that I'm Dort. Yeah. He's like a 6'5", about 240. I don't know what he is.
But he's scrappy, man.
Yeah, he's like built. So like we kind of start preparing him for that. For sure. That was the biggest gap I felt from the first season, and then before that summer league, and before the second season.
Sure.
He's very serious about lifting and eating. So it will take time. Right. I was never a fan of people like, oh, you need to put 25 pounds in the summer.
Right.
I just don't think, like I always say, like KD hasn't struggling.
Right.
He's a really good scorer.
And he's always
couldn't bench 185. Right. And then I remember the story when Kobe gained 20 some muscles to play different position. When they got Malone and Payton. Okay.
In 03.
So he gained some weight. And then he couldn't score. He said he wasn't moving as fast. He wasn't doing so. Sure. In the middle of the season, he lost weight just to get back to it. So I'm a believer that strength is not always equals just the muscle size. One, you can leverage, which he knows how, versus just being strong straight up, right? So he knows the angles, he understands the shoulder, the bumps. Like you watch his stuff, he like pushes people, because they move it. So you understand the leverage and the body movement, right? So it's not always, like again, maturity, body maturity, strength will help, but it doesn't have to be a big jump, right? So I feel like he's on the right track to do that. That's the biggest gap when he like gets a smaller guard and get bumped out of the way, right? So like he still holds the ball, but it's not the same. Like they would bump him off. So like that's probably the main thing that for me, I mean, just being more consistent with the shots, understanding how to release quicker, or like he's contested shots better than uncontested sometimes. So then how do you lock in better on the shot before that? So again, there's some things that we're working in the off season, he's a rhythm guy. How do you create rhythm on the catch and shoots no matter how long the closeout is? Right? So again, that's something that I had to learn, right? It's different for me, for example, because I'm mechanical. Right? I was just like repeat the same thing.
Just do it again.
Why would you not? But for him, it's a rhythm. How do you catch the rhythm out of nowhere, right? Instead of doing this, right? How to do this on the catch. So it's a little.
Hey guys, thank you for watching the podcast. I appreciate it. First of all, shout out to Dmitry, who came out a long way to have a great conversation. We talked about basketball, we talked about life, just all sorts of things. So shout out to him. I'm going to leave links to his channel as well to Full Package Athletics down below, so you guys can go check that out. I'm not sure why the final 15 minutes or so of the actual interview did not make the cut. But luckily most of the actual conversation did make it, so that's really good. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll have more content for you guys out very soon.